Captain Elias Ward had always been drawn to the unknown. As a pilot for the United Earth Exploration Corps, he had seen distant stars, unusual planets, and alien signals. But nothing had prepared him for the mysterious energy readings in the uncharted Virilia system. Reports described strange fluctuations in space-time, unusual gravitational waves, and whispers of phenomena no human had ever witnessed. Most pilots avoided the system, calling it dangerous. Elias was not most pilots. His small reconnaissance ship, the Intrepid Dawn, glided through the void. The stars stretched like silver threads across the black canvas of space. Elias checked the readings again. The energy spikes were growing stronger. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Red warning lights blinked on. "Not now," Elias muttered, gripping the control panel. Sparks flew from a console, and the ship lurched. The hull groaned. Alarms screamed in his ears. He fought to stabilize the ship, but the energy waves from the Virilia system had already begun to interfere with the engines. With a final, desperate maneuver, he activated the emergency landing protocol. The ship plummeted toward a planet below a world glowing with soft, multicolored light, with forests that shimmered in green and blue hues. The Intrepid Dawn crashed into a clearing, skidding across the ground before coming to a halt. Smoke and sparks erupted, but the hull remained intact. Elias unbuckled himself and staggered out of the cockpit. The planet was breathtaking. Bioluminescent plants swayed gently, as if aware of his presence. Strange, melodic sounds filled the air, and a sweet fragrance of unknown flowers drifted around him. He marveled at the world, despite the accident. First human to set foot here. "Probably," he said aloud, his voice echoing in the quiet forest. Suddenly, a soft hum vibrated through the air. Elias turned sharply, scanning the trees. There, emerging from the glowing foliage, was Lyra. She was unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly, reflecting the colors around her. Her eyes were large, deep, and filled with stars. Her movements were graceful, almost floating above the ground. She regarded him with quiet curiosity, her gaze piercing but not hostile. Elias froze. Hello?" he said cautiously, raising a hand in greeting. Lyra tilted her head, and a voice echoed in his mind, clear yet gentle. Elias stumbled back, startled. Telepathy? This alien communicated without speaking. "Yes, I am. My name is Elias Ward. I didn't mean to land here." Lyra's eyes glowed softly, her expression unreadable. "I was investigating. Strange energy readings in this system. My ship. I crashed. I didn't mean to intrude." He gestured toward the smoking, Intrepid Dawn. Lyra studied him for a long moment. "You are brave. Or foolish. Perhaps both. Few come here willingly." Elias swallowed nervously. "I guess that's me. Brave. And foolish." He forced a small smile. "Do you live here?" "I am of this world. Yes, I am Lyra." Elias took a cautious step closer. Despite the danger, there was something calming about her presence. "Lyra, nice to meet you. Can you understand me?" "Yes. Your thoughts are simple to read, yet layered. You are curious and cautious." Elias laughed softly. "Well, that's a polite way of saying I'm scared out of my mind." Lyra tilted her head, a faint smile forming on her lips. "Fear is understandable, but it is your choice to act beyond it. That matters." Elias felt a strange warmth in his chest. There was something in the way she spoke, like she could see more than just his body, like she understood him in a way no human ever could. "Why are you glowing?" he asked, gesturing toward her shimmering skin. "We are connected to the life force of this planet. It is natural." It shows our emotions and our energy. Elias glanced around, noticing how the forest pulsed with light, responding subtly to her presence. It was as if the entire world recognized her. That's incredible. Lyra moved closer, her eyes studying him. You are different from the others who visit or invade. I can sense it. You are not here to harm. Elias took a deep breath. The moment felt fragile, almost sacred. He had faced countless dangers in his life, but nothing compared to the awe of standing before this alien being. I don't even know what to say. Win quote. Ibia said. Lyra's lips curved slightly. You may not need to speak. I feel your intentions. Elias chuckled nervously. Intentions? You mean, like, I want to survive? More than survival, she replied, her voice gentle but probing. I sense curiosity. And something else. Something human. Elias froze. Lyra's gaze softened. Yes. Something unfamiliar to me. It is connection. Elias's heart pounded. There was a strange tension in the air, a pull he could not explain. He took another step closer, his voice barely above a whisper. Lyra, what if I kissed you? For a moment, the world seemed to pause. The soft glow of the forest intensified, and a gentle hum filled the air. Lyra's eyes widened, reflecting the stars above. Then, slowly, she leaned closer. Her expression unreadable, yet her energy seemed to shimmer and ripple like water disturbed by a stone. Elias's mind raced. Was this acceptance? A warning? The air between them vibrated with something he had never felt before, an energy that was both thrilling and terrifying. Such an act is powerful, Lyra whispered in his mind. It creates a bond. Are you ready for that? Elias nodded, almost instinctively. I think so. The moment stretched. When their lips finally met, a wave of energy surged through both of them. Elias felt visions flash in his mind, vivid images of distant worlds, fleets of ships, and landscapes bathed in strange light. Lyra gasped, her energy glowing brighter. This bond, she said, awe in her voice. It awakens something ancient, something that connects our fates. Elias staggered back slightly, overwhelmed. What did we just do? Lyra's eyes met his. Calm, yet intense. We have linked. You are not merely a visitor now. Your choices, your heart, will affect not just this world, but mine as well. Elias swallowed, realizing the weight of her words. So, this is serious? Very, she said, her voice carrying both caution and wonder. Much depends on what comes next. Forces beyond your comprehension. Watch now. Elias looked at the glowing forest, at Lyra, at the endless stars above. He had always thought he understood the universe. But now, he knew how little he truly knew. His curiosity, bravery, and a simple question, what if I kissed you, had changed everything. Suddenly, the ground trembled. Elias and Lyra turned toward the horizon. A dark silhouette moved among the trees, vast and ominous. Shadows stretched unnaturally, and a low, mechanical hum echoed through the forest. They are coming, Lyra said softly, her glow dimming slightly. The Dravoks. They seek to consume all life here, and beyond. They sense the bond we have formed. Elias clenched his fists, determination igniting. Then we stop them. Lyra's eyes softened, and a faint smile appeared. Yes, together. As night fell over the bioluminescent forest, two very different beings, human and alien, stood side by side, bound by curiosity, courage, and an unexpected kiss. Unseen forces were already moving across the stars. But in that moment, hope had taken root. Two worlds, linked by a fragile but powerful bond, were on the brink of a fate that only they could shape. And for the first time in his life, Elias realized that the universe was not just something to explore, it was something to protect. And perhaps, love could be a force more powerful than any weapon. The glow from the forest slowly faded as night deepened. But the bioluminescent plants continued to shimmer softly, casting strange, dancing lights over Elias and Lyra. Elias could feel the lingering energy from their kiss, still vibrating through him. It was not just physical, he could feel her thoughts, emotions, and even faint glimpses of the world beyond her home planet. Lyra stepped closer, her presence calming yet intense. "You are unusual, human," she said in her gentle telepathic voice. "Few can withstand the energy of this planet, let alone form a connection with me. Your courage is impressive." Elias scratched the back of his neck nervously. "I guess I've always had a habit of getting into trouble. Or, curiosity gets the better of me." Lyra tilted her head, considering him. "Curiosity is valuable, but it can also be dangerous. Here, you are not just a visitor. The bond we share, it links our fates. You must understand what this means." Elias felt a shiver run through him. "I think I do. Sort of. But tell me more. What is this bond? What did our kiss really do?" Lyra's glowing eyes reflected the starlight. "It awakened something ancient inside me. It allows us to share energy, thoughts, and even visions. It can amplify abilities, and in some cases, it can influence the events that shape entire worlds. But it is a fragile connection. It must be nurtured, respected, and trusted." Elias took a deep breath. "So, we're partners? In some way?" "More than partners," Lyra replied. "We are linked. Your intentions, your actions, your heart, all of these affect me. And through me, they affect my world. The Dravox, who watch from afar, will notice this bond. They are cunning, dangerous, and they do not forgive." The mention of the Dravox sent a chill down Elias's spine. He had heard legends about alien empires that conquered entire star systems, but never imagined encountering one so soon. "Then we have to prepare. We can't just wait for them to come." Lyra nodded. "Yes. But preparation is more than weapons. You must understand our technology, our ways, and the true strength of connection. Only then can we hope to resist them." Elias followed Lyra deeper into the forest. The air was warm, carrying a faint hum of energy from the glowing plants. Strange creatures flitted in and out of the light, watching silently but never approaching. Lyra moved gracefully, her body seemingly floating above the ground, while Elias struggled to keep up. "The energy here is alive," Lyra explained. "It responds to emotion. Fear, trust, anger, hope. All of these influence the environment. That is why your presence and your bond with me are noticeable. The forest itself senses it." Elias glanced around, marveling at the way the plants bent slightly toward them as if acknowledging their presence. "It's incredible. Everything here feels alive. Not just the creatures. Everything here is connected," Lyra said, "just as we are connected now. That is why we must act carefully. The Dravox seek to destroy this connection, because they fear it. They fear unity that cannot be controlled." Elias clenched his fists, determination growing inside him. "Then we show them they can't control everything. We fight. We survive. Together." Lyra's gaze softened. "Yes, together. But first, you must learn to trust not only me, but yourself." Courage alone is not enough. Understanding, focus, and harmony with energy are essential. They reached a clearing where strange crystalline formations rose from the ground like towers. Lyra stopped and gestured toward them. These are conduits of energy. We use them to amplify abilities, communicate across distances, and even defend our world. But their full potential can only be unlocked through emotional resonance. That is where you come in. Elias stepped forward cautiously. Me? How can I? Lyra extended her hand. Place your hand here. Feel the energy. Let it respond to your intent. Trust yourself. And trust me. Hesitant but willing, Elias placed his hand on the nearest crystal. Warmth spread through his body, followed by a gentle vibration. It was unlike anything he had ever felt. His mind sharpened, his senses heightened. He could feel the rhythm of the forest, the heartbeat of the planet, and even the faint pull of distant stars. Your mind is open, Lyra said, her voice echoing softly in his thoughts. You are beginning to resonate with the energy. Soon, you will be able to manipulate it, use it for defense, and even influence the environment. But remember, all power comes with responsibility. Do not let pride or anger control you. Elias nodded, still overwhelmed by the sensations. I think I understand. Sort of. Good, Lyra replied. Now, close your eyes. Focus on me. Our bond will guide the energy. He obeyed, feeling her presence like a beacon in his mind. The energy pulsed faster, and a vision appeared before him. He saw the Dravok's fleet dark ships moving in formation across the stars, their weapons glowing red. He saw both Earth and Lyra's planet, Virelia, threatened by the same force. And in the center of it all, he saw himself and Lyra standing together, facing the enemy. Elias gasped. Is this real? Or some kind of vision? It is a possible future, Lyra explained. A warning, a guide. But futures are not fixed. They change with actions, decisions, and bonds. That is why our connection is crucial. Together, we can alter the course of events. Elias clenched his fists, resolve hardening. Then we start now. We learn, we prepare, and we fight if we must. Nothing will stop us from protecting both our worlds. Lyra's glow brightened. Your courage is admirable, and your heart is true. This is rare, human. Many are strong, but few combine strength with compassion. That combination is powerful. They spent hours exploring the crystal formations, practicing energy resonance, and testing Elias's ability to connect with the planet's life force. With each exercise, he grew stronger, and their bond deepened. They began to communicate not only through words or thoughts, but through shared feelings, joy, curiosity, concern, and even fear. At one point, Elias stumbled, and Lyra caught him. Their eyes met, and for a moment, words were unnecessary. The bond pulsed between them, subtle but unmistakable. Elias smiled. I'm glad you're here. I don't know if I could handle all this alone. Lyra's voice was soft, almost shy. And I am glad you came, despite the danger. Many humans would not survive here, let alone form a bond like ours. Night deepened further, but the forest remained alive with soft light. Strange creatures crept closer, curious but harmless. Elias and Lyra sat beside a glowing stream, watching the water shimmer with the planet's energy. Lyra, Elias said quietly, Do you think humans and your people could ever be friends? Allies? She considered him, her eyes reflecting the stars. It is possible. But fear and misunderstanding often prevent such things. Bonds like ours, they show what is possible. They inspire others. Elias smiled. Then let's be an example. If we can survive, learn, and protect together, maybe others will see that humans are worth trusting. Lyra's glow intensified. You speak with honesty and courage. That is rare. Perhaps together, we can change not only our fate, but the fate of both worlds. Suddenly, a distant rumble echoed through the forest. Elias and Lyra stood quickly, alert. Shadows shifted in the distance. The Dravoks were approaching, their presence a dark, pulsing threat that could not yet be seen fully but could be felt. They come, Lyra said, her voice calm but firm. Soon, we will need more than courage. We will need strategy, unity, and trust. But for now, rest. Tomorrow, training begins in earnest. Elias nodded, looking at the glowing forest and the alien being beside him. Tomorrow. Then, together. As they watched the bioluminescent world around them, a sense of hope settled over Elias. Despite the danger, despite the unknown, he knew one thing clearly. Their bond formed with a simple question. A single kiss had the power to change everything. And for the first time, he believed that humans were not just explorers of space, they could be protectors, allies, and even heroes in a story far larger than themselves. The night passed quietly, with the forest alive but peaceful. Elias and Lyra, side by side, shared dreams, hopes, and the silent promise that whatever came next, they would face it together. The first light of dawn stretched across the glowing forest, painting everything in soft shades of green and blue. Elias stood beside Lyra at the edge of the clearing, his eyes fixed on the horizon. The forest seemed calm, almost serene, but the tension in the air was palpable. The Dravoks were coming. Lyra's glow flickered slightly, reflecting her concern. They approach faster than expected, she said. Their fleet moves silently through space, and soon they will reach this system. We must act quickly. Elias tightened his grip on a small device Lyra had given him. It pulsed with faint energy, responding to their bond. What can we do? He asked. We're outnumbered, outgunned, and well, they're aliens. We barely know anything about them. Lyra's eyes softened. Your species is resilient. You think, quickly, adapt, and find strength in unexpected ways. That is why I chose to form a bond with you. Together, we have the power to resist. Elias swallowed, feeling the weight of her words. It was not just their lives at stake, but the future of two worlds. Then we start now. Teach me everything. Lyra nodded and guided him through the forest to a plateau overlooking the valley below. Strange crystalline towers rose from the ground, glowing softly. These are the conduits, she explained. Through them, we can manipulate energy, communicate across distances, and create defensive fields. But the connection must be perfect. Our bond, it will help you synchronize with them. Elias approached the largest crystal, placing his hands on its smooth surface. A pulse of warmth traveled through his arms and into his chest. He closed his eyes, focusing on Lyra, on the planet, and on the energy around him. Slowly, he felt a rhythm, like a heartbeat, guiding him. Good, Lyra whispered. Now, imagine protection. Imagine a shield. Feel it form with us. The crystal pulsed brightly, sending waves of energy into the clearing. Elias felt a rush of power he had never known before. The forest seemed to respond, the plants swaying as if they were alive, bending slightly toward him. He opened his eyes and saw faint, shimmering barriers forming above the plateau. You are learning quickly, Lyra said, her glow matching the crystals. Your bond amplifies the energy. Together, we are stronger than any force they bring, if we act wisely. 1. Suddenly, a low, ominous hum filled the air. Elias looked to the sky. Dark shapes were descending from orbit. Massive Dravox ships. Their sleek, black hulls reflecting the alien light of the planet. The Dravox fleet was larger than he had imagined, hundreds of ships moving in perfect formation. Elias's heart pounded. That's a lot of them. Lyra's expression was calm, but her energy pulsed faster. Do not underestimate us. They may have numbers, but we have strategy, adaptability, and the power of connection. Trust yourself. Elias. The first wave of Dravox fighters swooped down toward the forest, their weapons glowing red. Elias and Lyra moved to the edge of the plateau, the energy shield forming above them. We need to split them up, Elias said, thinking quickly. Force them to scatter. Use their size against them. Lyra nodded. I will guide the energy. You direct the force. Together, we will turn their strength into weakness. Elias raised his hands, feeling the flow of energy through the crystal. With Lyra's guidance, he directed pulses of light toward the incoming ships. The energy hit the Dravox fighters, causing them to swerve and collide. Good, Lyra said. Now, focus on their formation. Predict their movement, and we will strike together. Elias closed his eyes, feeling the rhythm of the battlefield. He could sense the Dravox ships, their energy, their motion. He adjusted the energy pulses, guiding them to intercept the enemy strategically. One by one, the fighters faltered, their formation breaking. A massive Dravox command ship hovered above the valley. Its presence was commanding, almost oppressive. Lyra's glow dimmed slightly. That is their leader. We must not allow it to reach the planet. Its weapons could destroy everything. Elias nodded. Then we take it down. How? Lyra's eyes shone brightly. Through the bond, our energy, combined with your resolve, can create a focused strike. But it must be precise. Too strong, and it could backfire. Too weak, and it will fail. Elias placed his hands on the crystal again, feeling the surge of energy. Lyra mirrored him, their minds connecting through the bond. The energy flowed between them, amplifying and stabilizing. Elias could feel the pulse of the planet, the rhythm of the forest, and the resonance of their connection. Now, Lyra whispered. A concentrated beam of energy shot from the crystal toward the Dravox command ship. The ship shuddered, its shields flickering. Dravox fighters tried to intervene, but the combined human-Virelian force pushed them back. Elias felt the energy flowing through him, his heartbeat matching the rhythm of the bond. The command ship faltered, its movements becoming erratic. Then, with a final surge of focus, Elias and Lyra directed a pulse that pierced its shields. The ship tumbled, spinning out of control before crashing into the valley below. The impact sent tremors through the forest, but the Dravox fleet paused, stunned by the sudden loss of their leader. Elias collapsed onto one knee, breathing heavily. Did we do it? Lyra's glow was bright, her eyes sparkling. Yes, we have won this battle, but the war has only begun. Their fleet is vast, and they will not give up easily. But this shows them that humans and Virelians together are not weak. Elias smiled, feeling a surge of pride. Then let's make sure they never forget it. Over the next few hours, Elias and Lyra coordinated the defense of the forest and surrounding areas. Humans, alerted through emergency communication channels, arrived in small ships, guided by Lyra's energy to strategic positions. With human ingenuity and Virelian energy manipulation, they set up traps, barriers, and defenses that forced the Dravox to retreat temporarily. During a brief rest, Elias and Lyra sat together beside a glowing stream, watching the sun rise over the horizon. Elias's hands were still shaking from the battle, but his heart was full. You were incredible out there, he said. I don't know if we could have done it without you. Lyra's glow softened, a gentle warmth emanating from her. You were equally incredible, Elias. Your courage, your ability to think under pressure. It is rare among your kind. Our bond amplified what we could do, but it was your mind and heart that guided it. Elias chuckled softly. Guess that kiss wasn't just symbolic, huh? Lyra's eyes sparkled, and a faint blush seemed to shimmer across her skin. It is more than symbolic. It is a catalyst. It awakened abilities in both of us, and it forged a connection that can withstand challenges. But remember, the Dravoks are patient. They will return. 17 Rees. Elias nodded. Then we prepare. Tomorrow, we train more. We learn. We fight smarter, not just harder. Lyra extended her hand. And together, we will face whatever comes. The bond we share. It is our strength, our guide, and our shield. Trust it, as I trust you. Elias took her hand, feeling the pulse of energy through their connection. As they watched the glowing forest, the remnants of Dravok's ships smoldering in the distance, Elias realized the truth of Lyra's words. This bond formed with a simple question. A single kiss was more than affection. It was hope, courage, and a symbol of what humans could accomplish when they dared to connect, understand, and act. And though the Dravok's threat was far from over, for the first time, Elias believed that humans were not just small and fragile in the universe. They were adaptable, resourceful, and capable of extraordinary unity. With Lyra by his side, he knew that even the darkest forces could be challenged. The sun rose higher, casting warm light over the bioluminescent forest. Birds, with radiant feathers, took flight, their songs mixing with the soft hum of energy. Elias and Lyra stood together, ready to face the challenges ahead. Two species, once strangers, now allies, now partners, and a bond that could change the fate of two worlds. The bioluminescent forest was quiet, but the air was thick with tension. Elias stood on a small ridge, scanning the valley below where remnants of the Dravok's fleet still smoldered. The first attack had been successful, but he knew it was only a temporary victory. Lyra stood beside him, her glow steady but intense. They are not defeated, she said. They will return. Their fleet is vast, and their strategy is cunning. If we do not act carefully, both our worlds could be lost. Elias nodded, determination in his eyes. Then, we need to know their plan. We can't just wait for them to strike again. Lyra's eyes sparkled. I have sensed their movements through the bond. But to truly understand, we must see them directly. Their command ship, the one we damaged, contains information about their strategy. We must infiltrate it. Elias felt a chill. Infiltrate their flagship? That's dangerous. Lyra smiled faintly, her glow comforting. Yes, but danger is not the same as impossibility. With careful planning, and our bond, we can succeed. You must trust in your instincts, and in us. Over the next hours, Elias and Lyra prepared. Human engineers adapted their small ships for stealth, while Lyra taught Elias how to manipulate energy to shield their presence. Every step strengthened their bond, allowing Elias to sense her thoughts, her intentions, even the subtle changes in her energy. As night fell, they launched. The forest below shimmered faintly, as if bidding them farewell. Elias piloted their modified ship, a blend of human engineering and Virelian energy manipulation. Lyra guided them silently, her glow lighting the way through the darkness of space. The Dravok's flagship loomed ahead, enormous and menacing. Its black hull absorbed light, and faint red lines pulsed across its surface. Elias swallowed. That's huge. Lyra's eyes were calm. Focus. The size is not the only factor. Their strength lies in coordination, but they underestimate our bond. That is our advantage. Elias nodded, concentrating. The ship's shields activated, shimmering faintly around them. Lyra's energy flowed into the shields, enhancing them. Together, they passed through the Dravox fleet undetected, using shadows and energy pulses to avoid detection. Inside the flagship, the corridors were cold and metallic. Elias followed Lyra, moving quietly through the dimly lit passages. Alien machines hummed and glowed red, but no guards approached. Lyra's connection guided them, sensing where the enemy's attention was focused. Their command center is ahead, Lyra whispered. We must move carefully. One mistake, and we could be trapped. They reached a large chamber filled with holographic maps and glowing symbols. A figure moved at the center, a Dravox commander, tall, armored, and emanating a cold, calculating energy. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. So the humans dare to come, the commander said, his voice deep and mechanical. And you, alien, bonded with them? Fools. Weakness. Lyra's glow brightened. You underestimate the power of unity and trust, she replied calmly. It is not weakness to bond, it is strength. Elias stepped forward, feeling the energy from the bond pulse through him. The room seemed to respond. Faint ripples in the air, vibrating with power. He looked at Lyra. We can do this. Together. They moved as one. Lyra manipulated the energy in the room, creating barriers and controlling light. Elias focused on their bond, channeling it into a concentrated pulse. The energy swirled around them, forming a shield that deflected attacks from the commander's devices. The Dravox commander snarled, sending out a wave of force, but the bond between human and alien amplified their power. Elias felt the energy flow through him, guiding his movements. Together, they directed a controlled pulse at the commander, forcing him to stumble back. You rely on numbers and weapons, Lyra said, her glow intensifying. We rely on connection, courage, and strategy. That is a force you cannot comprehend. The commander recovered quickly, but Elias and Lyra were ready. They combined energy pulses, destabilizing the control systems of the flagship. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and the floor trembled. The Dravox ships outside shifted in response, their coordination faltering. Elias felt a surge of confidence. It's working. Keep going. Lyra nodded, their bond amplifying the energy further. Together, they sent a focused pulse through the flagship, hitting the command console. Sparks flew, and the holographic maps went dark. The Dravox fleet's coordination broke down. The commander roared in frustration. Impossible. How can mere humans and one alien resist us? Through unity, Elias replied, his voice steady. The energy from their bond surged once more, stronger and more controlled. The commander tried to strike back, but Lyra's energy shield deflected his attacks. Elias directed the force, guiding it to disable the flagship's core systems. The ship shook violently, alarms screaming, and red lights flashing. We need to leave, Lyra shouted. If the core destabilizes, the entire ship will collapse. Elias didn't hesitate. They raced back through the corridors, Lyra guiding him, their bond protecting them from the commander's final attempts to stop them. The ship trembled, and explosions echoed through its hull. They reached their small ship and launched just as the Dravox flagship began to break apart. A massive energy wave shot outward, knocking nearby ships off course. Elias piloted through the chaos, Lyra's energy shielding them from debris. Outside, the Dravox fleet was in disarray. Ships collided, floundered, and retreated, confused and leaderless. Elias exhaled deeply, looking at Lyra. We did it. For now. Lyra's glow was soft but steady. Yes, but this is only a turning point. They will recover. They will adapt. But we have shown them something important. Humans and Virelians together are formidable. Our bond is not just energy, it is hope, strategy, and resilience. Elias nodded, feeling pride and relief. And our bond? It's growing stronger every moment. I can feel it. We're ready for what comes next. Lyra extended her hand, and Elias took it. The connection between them pulsed gently, a reminder of the power they shared. Together, we can face anything, she said softly. Elias smiled. Then we face it, and we win. Not just for us, but for both our worlds. As they returned to the forest, the first light of a new day reflected on the glowing trees. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Yet, Elias felt something he had never felt before: confidence. Not just in himself, but in humanity. They were not weak. They were adaptable, resourceful, and capable of extraordinary unity. And with Lyra by his side, he knew that even the darkest threats could be challenged. A bond formed with courage, and a simple kiss had grown into something capable of changing the fate of two worlds. The sun rose over the glowing forest, illuminating the path ahead. Elias and Lyra, linked in heart, mind, and purpose, prepared for the challenges yet to come. The Dravox would return. But now, humanity and Virelia had something they had never faced before: the strength of trust, unity, and the bond between two very different beings.